Yo, Still Mills, what's the deal, man? I nigga just woke up, man. We finna get my day started or whatever. But I had to come and do this before I got that day started. You dig me? So I want to first off, I want to say, man, shout out to to Nuke for giving a brother a look like this, man. This shit is, I think, this is dope, man. Man, it's a good dude right there. That's a solid dude, man. Shout out to the panel. I fuck with y'all. And I'm hoping to be back on there Friday, definitely, man, so we can talk about this Jerron and his versus Amante Stanionis fight, because that's a bang fest right there, man. But peep game, man, let's get into this bullshit, man. And I want to talk about Teofimo Lopez versus Arnold Barboza, man, and how I see that fight is going. And, first off, let me say, Devin Haney is the one that's getting the most stick about not necessarily about having the hardest fight in the on that card or whatever the case may be. And he's definitely got a fight in front of him. He's got a dog fight in front of him. But the thing is this, I think he's game enough to where he can win that fight. He's game enough to where he can win that fight. I can't see a possible positive outcome from Teofimo Lopez because, the style matchups. Now, granted, Teofimo Lopez has the better scalps on his resume, and Lomachenko and Josh Taylor. Those are real good wins. Those, especially the Lomachenko win. But, when you look at Josh Taylor, that wasn't Josh Taylor at his apex. This was Josh Taylor off a foot injury and all that shit. But nonetheless, it was a good win for him, man. But it wasn't Josh Taylor at his best. Arnold Barboza beating Jack Catterall, and then before that, he crashed Jose Ramirez like that. Those were like, okay. Homeboy on fire right now, man. Homeboy is on fire, and this is a fight that he's been wanting since before he came into the division. He's been on that. He's been on that, and a lot of times those end up being pretty dangerous fights. Those end up being pretty dangerous fights, man. So the dude is he's game for this fight, and I don't think Teofimo Lopez is in it. He's just not. He's in a spiral abyss mentally, man, and he doesn't have Reynoso in his corner, so it's like, how do Reynoso was supposed to be the conduit to your ascension into being a better fighter than what you are now, man. So stylistically, it's just Teofimo has no advantage going into this fight, man. Arnold Barboza is not going to be a dude who's going to stand in front of you like a Steve Claggett, like a Richard Comey. He's not going to be that guy, or even a Lomachenko, because Lomachenko he's not a back foot fighter. He likes to bang out in the trenches. That's not Arnold Barboza's game, and those are usually the fights that historically give you the biggest headaches, man. Arnold Barboza is a dude who's going to take half steps back, and he's going to work that. He's going to work his straight shots. And he's not a big puncher like that, so he's not looking to off your head. He's just looking to outpoint you for 12 rounds. He's looking to outpoint you for 12 rounds. And, Teofimo, historically, when he's in front of those types of fighters, man, they just give him a headache, man. Sandor Martin. How you get walked into the left hands by Sandor Martin and get sat down? And that dude ain't no puncher. He got sat down twice by Sandor Martin. You dig? Jermaine Ortiz. Now, he was able to just keep you off balance and spin you the entirety of the fight. You dig? How does this happen? George Kambosos, when he wanted to be a counterpuncher, you wanted to go in there and bet like a bull in a matador. You got matador for damn sure. You dig? So what happens when you're in front of a dude who's taller than you and uses his height to his advantage, man? You had a problem with Nakatani as well. You said it yourself. We're not fighting no more tall dudes, man. So now you're in front of a dude who's relatively taller than you, and now how you gonna go about handling that? You dig? So, and even at your, let's say he did stand in front of you, man. He's been in front of bigger punchers. Than you are, man. Your introduction fight into the division was Compass. It took you like 9 rounds to get rid of that dude. You dig me? And you couldn't get rid of Steve Claggett. That's not no high profile fighter, man. You're supposed to go in there and crash that dude, and you couldn't make that happen, man. So when you got a dude who's punching on the go, and he's not going to give you those countering opportunities by coming towards you or fighting at a range that you can at least touch his chin at, how are you going to win that fight? So it's just really looking like it's looking like we're going, at least if you ask me, I'm thinking we're going to have a new champion in the division. Now, granted, I have gone against Lomachenko and not Lomachenko, but Teofimo in all these high profile fights. Lomachenko was one of my favorites. Josh Taylor was one of my favorites. I thought Josh Taylor had enough. To be able to deal with Lomachenko. Keep saying Lomachenko. I thought Josh Taylor had enough to deal with Teofimo Lopez because of who he's been in there with. And, his accolades and his accomplishments, man. But, the dude he's just not at his apex. And he ain't fought since the Jack Catterall fight last year. So we don't really know what he's doing. But, I say all that to say this, man. I went against Teofimo Lopez against my better judgment. And maybe I'm wrong again. But I don't think so this time. And if I am wrong, hey, it is what it is, man. I take that. I don't like Teofimo Lopez no way. Him or his bitch ass daddy. So, but it ain't about my personal feelings. It's just my personal analysis. And what I'm seeing in this fight is I think we're gonna have a new division at 140 pounds in Arnold Barboza, because the dude is just he's all wrong for Teofimo Lopez and Lomachenko. Teofimo Lopez has never wanted this fight. He's never wanted this fight, and it's because of the style clash. And Arnold Barboza has the style to really give Teofimo Lopez headaches, and that's why he's been staying away from this fight. And now you go into this fight with the same cornerman you've had since forever, and you're not elevating. You're not learning how to cut the ring off, and you're not learning how to initiate the offense. You're not doing none of that. You'll initiate the offense when you're far better than the opposition that you're in front of, man. But when you're someone who's on equal footing than you, and they start letting shit go, you revert to the counterpuncher. You dig what I'm saying? You can't lead the dance. And Arnold Barboza is left-handed too, so that right there that's an advantage that you could use. Southpaws, conventional fighters have the same advantages as southpaws. You feel what I'm saying? They have the same advantages. Outside of, you don't see southpaws often. Other than that, everything a southpaw can do to a conventional fighter can do to a southpaw if you have the proper foot coordination to get the shot off. He has that, but he just don't have the fast enough feet to possibly make it happen. So I'm going with Arnold Barboza in this matchup, man. I think I'm excited for it. I think, by the time the third round comes around, we're really going to start to see Arnold Barboza assert himself and land with regularity and effectiveness, and you're going to start to see Teofimo Lopez really begin to spiral. You dig? Sandor Martin I don't think he's as long, he's not as rangy as Arnold Barboza, and Arnold Barboza is going to use every bit of his natural advantages to his advantage, and he's going to come out with a 8-4 type of victory, 7-5 if they're being generous, possibly 9-3. Deuces, man.